Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we're going to talk about the crypto total market cap Fibonacci levels, looking at the previous cycle, and can we use it to find any clues about what potentially could happen in this cycle? So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys smack the like button. And without further ado, let's jump on in. All right. So obviously this is the crypto total market cap. You guys can see right now we are sitting right above the previous all-time highs, right? And you might be asking yourself, is the top in for crypto? Is the top not in for crypto? Where could potentially the top be for the total market cap of crypto? And all these questions that you might have. So I thought today that we might look at the total market cap, right? Which includes Bitcoin and altcoins, and look at where potentially this market could go based on previous cycles. Now, first of all, we know that every cycle goes up less, right? Diminishing returns. Obviously, as market caps go up, more money comes to the market. You're going to get less gains each cycle, right? So with that, we can use Fibonacci's, which are going to use highs to lows and give you less price targets because obviously the highs to lows of each cycle tend to decrease, right? So let's start off by looking at last cycle and you know, kind of just take our previous 2017 top to our 2019 low, right? And look at what happened in the previous cycle and where did crypto top out? Where did it have pauses? And see if we can find any similarities to this cycle. All right. So if we just take a look what we have right now, if we take the cycle high to cycle low, right, of that 2018, 2019 bear market, you can see that right off the bat, you guys can see that we topped out at the 4236 Fibonacci extension level, all right, almost to an absolute T, which is a lot of times where you see tops come in on these markets, right? Whether it's stock markets, Bitcoin, crypto, these Fibonacci levels tend to be major highs and major lows when you're going to the downside, right? So you can see that we perfectly topped out at the 4236 for total market cap. Now, we're going to get back to that in a second and show you guys where that could be for this cycle, right? But I think what we also have to look at is, did we see pauses at each of the Fibonacci levels on the way up, right? That's, I think, an important question. And did we also see pullbacks to important Fibonacci levels and use them as support on the way up? All right, we're also going to look at that too. All right, so the first thing I want to point out to you guys of about where we're at right now. So obviously we're in the beginning of February of the post-election year. I just kind of want to point out where we were in the post-election year last cycle for total market cap, right? This includes Bitcoin and altcoins, right? So if you look at where we were in the beginning of February, we were actually sitting right above the previous all-time high, right? So 2018 all-time high, we were sitting right above in the beginning of February, which is kind of funny right now is if you actually look, the previous all-time high, which was right here, we'll just mark it off real quick, which is right there. Where are we? We're sitting right above the previous all-time high, right? So if we're just looking at the one-to-one or basically the all-time high, which is, I guess, technically a fib level, it's the high, we're sitting exactly where we were in the previous cycle at this time. Now that we have that out of the way and we can say, okay, we're sitting exactly where we were, which is the previous all-time high, right in the beginning of February, which we were exactly where we were there last cycle. What did we do next? Okay, what was the next move? Well, we can see that we did not dip below the previous all-time high on any weekly closes. All right, let me just actually turn this to the weekly. That would be a little bit better, right? So we didn't get any weekly closes back below the previous all-time high. Now, you can see here, so far, we have not gotten any weekly closes below the previous all-time high, though we have retested it. What was the next move in the cycle? Well, you can see after we held the previous all-time high, we kind of went straight up to the 2618 Fibonacci level, right? Kind of looking here, we got to zoom in. We got a straight up move to about the 2618 Fibonacci level. And then we saw about another 28% correction on Bitcoin. Now, what's a little bit different this cycle is if we actually take our Fibonacci, right? We just get rid of this one real quick. So, we can see where our current cycle's Fibonacci levels are. And we do this, right? What you'll notice is We're sitting right above the previous all-time high, which we said we were at this point of the cycle last cycle. The 2618 Fibonacci level is interesting because we have not even hit the 1618 Fibonacci level yet, right? We're still sitting below the 1618 Fibonacci level yet, right? So could the next move be, if we're going to continue the 4-year cycles and kind of going, along these patterns of the fib of last cycle, could the 1618 Fibonacci level be the next point we go to, which approximately from here, total market cap would rise about 40%, right? And obviously if total market cap goes up, most of that's probably going to be Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the majority of the crypto total market cap, right? It's like 60% of the crypto total market cap. About a 40% move to the 1618 Fibonacci. Now, if we did what we did the previous cycle, which we went basically from the previous all-time high retest to the 2618, right, which we just looked at, that would bring us to about 6.71 trillion, which would be a little bit over a 2x. You'd be looking at a 112% move on total market cap. Now, in my opinion, if you were going to see that, you probably would need Bitcoin to really move it up, and you would probably need to get some type of altcoin movement more than we're seeing now, right? So once again, look at the previous cycle. We can say that we went from the previous all-time high retest to the 2618 before seeing about a 30% pullback. And really, if you look at this, it really was a previous all-time high retest right to the 3618 Fibonacci level, right? In reality, on the weekly, yeah, you got like a week or two pullbacks, right? Right, you got a week pullback here, week pullback here. But it really was hitting the 3618 Fibonacci in May. So that's a big move, right? That's about a 3x. That's about 3xing the current total crypto market cap. Can we do it? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say we are going to do it, right? But we are doing what we did in the past, which is retesting the previous all-time highs in the beginning of February, retesting previous all-time highs in the beginning of February. The next move, right, and I just want to point this out, was the previous all-time high retest pretty much straight to the 3618 Fibonacci in the span of about 3 months. That was like a 3-month move. Back then, obviously smaller market caps, bigger gains, was about a 220% move, right? And we just said from where we are now to the 3618 Fibonacci is about a 191% move. Will we do it? I'm not going to sit here and say we are or we aren't. We're just kind of looking at what's happened in the past. Why really a lot of people are saying this time is different. It's just not. It's not different. The only reason it feels it's different is because there's way more altcoins nowadays. So yes, Bitcoin has moved up a lot. And yes, some altcoins have moved up a lot, but not all of them have. So it's felt like this time is different. But if you look at where total market cap is, this time actually has been the exact same. We're sitting at the exact same point that we were in the previous cycle, right above all-time highs in the beginning of February of the post-election year. Literally nothing is different, besides the fact that there's more altcoins now and the gains are more spread out, and you have to be better at picking the altcoins, and you can't just blindly pick altcoins like you could in 2021 cycle. You have to be good at picking the altcoins, right? So if we just look at where we are, right, and we could argue, are we going to do the same thing? Are we not going to do the same thing? Who knows, right? We don't have a crystal ball. We don't know where the market's going to go. But I think what we can do is if we are 4-year cycle believers and we think the 4-year cycle is going to play out, you have to either one, ride Bitcoin, which Bitcoin should be always be your biggest holding, always. Or if you're going to play the altcoin market, you have to be good at picking what altcoins are going to move up in a scenario where we go to the 1618 Fibonacci, or we go to the 2618, 3618, and maybe even top out at the 4236 Fibonacci again at 10.55 trillion. You have to be good at picking the altcoins. I don't think it's one of those things where you can just sit in any altcoin and expect to make a shitload of money if we're going to do something like this. Okay. So obviously what we said earlier, right, to kind of get back to what we said earlier, was we needed to look at where we topped last cycle, which was exactly on the point, the 4236 Fibonacci level at 2.96 trillion, which is where we are now, funny enough. I just think that's kind of funny. We're exactly where we are now. The 4236 Fibonacci would put us at 10.4 trillion, okay? Which we said for total market cap would be about a 230% gain. I know that doesn't sound big, but I think what people miss when this happens is this is either going to, if this is going to play out again, which is no guarantee it does, top could already be in, right? Who knows? But if it does play out like that again, either a couple things are going to happen. Either it's going to be Bitcoin continuing to lead, right? And Bitcoin capturing most of that 3x move, right? Which would put Bitcoin at like 300K while altcoins just go sideways. Totally a possibility. Or what that could mean, like it has in 2017 and 2021 cycles, where that once Bitcoin got above all time, or once total market cap got above all time highs and retested, it was basically the altcoins' turn to run, right? So basically, it doesn't sound like a lot, but you got to imagine Bitcoin going up a little bit more in 2021, but from February to May, which was about a 218%, really February to November was like a 267% gain for total market cap. Most of that was going into the altcoin market while Bitcoin was flat, right? So the altcoin gains were exponential while Bitcoin was maybe did like a 2x from that point, right? I think Bitcoin was like 30K when total market cap was here, right? So if we look at where we are now, there's obviously two scenarios, right? There's three scenarios. Top is already in, we're done for. I don't think that's the case. I think we're going higher, but that's scenario number one. Top is already in, we're screwed, right? Altcoins fucked. So much for your altcoin season, we're done. Scenario number two is we go for these Fibonacci levels and Bitcoin continues to dominate because we're not getting QE, right? We're not getting the money supply growing. If you didn't watch yesterday's video, watch yesterday's video. Great explanation on why we need more money in markets to make these coins go up, right? We hit these Fibonacci levels and it's Bitcoin rolling the show. That would be probably if things continue the same. We don't get QE, right? They don't reduce interest rates anymore. And we just continue to be the status quo, QE since 2023. Scenario number four, Bitcoin has maybe another 2x in it or less. And what gets total market cap up here is the altcoin moves, right? Big Ethereum moves, big XRP moves, right? Big altcoin moves gets us up to these levels. I don't know which one it's going to be, but all I know is I don't like to say this time is different for the simple fact that every cycle we think this time is different, and every cycle we tend to do the same thing. So if we say that 2017, what got us up to these Fibonacci levels, we don't have this in total market cap, but we can look at it on Bitcoin. What got us to these levels on total market cap in 2017 was, right, QE, low interest rates. Altcoins are what got us up to these huge levels after we broke all-time highs. It wasn't Bitcoin, right? 2021, same thing. Once we got here, Bitcoin had like another 2x, and it was altcoins that got us to these, 3618 and 4236 Fibonacci levels after we tested the all-time highs. So is this time going to be different? It could be, right? That's always a dangerous thing to say, though. So as we sit here in the beginning of February, right on top of the previous all-time highs, like we did last cycle, what is going to get us, if we are going to continue up for total market cap, which I believe we will, I just don't know which way it's going to be. Is it going to be Bitcoin-led or is it going to be altcoin-led? I don't know. That's why I own both. But from the standpoint of, are we going to get, number one, the move up here, and what's going to lead us up there? That's the question you have to ask yourself. That's the question you have to find out. All we can look at is previous cycles and say, at this point, it was altcoins that got us up to this level. The only thing that's slightly different this cycle is the fact that a lot of the ETF money will not flow from Bitcoin to altcoins this cycle. That's one thing people don't take for granted. And all the sailor money buying is not going to be, sailor's not going to be selling Bitcoin for altcoins. So a lot of this new money that's coming to Bitcoin over the past year is going to stay in Bitcoin and not flow into altcoins this cycle. So obviously keep that in mind. That's why Bitcoin's my biggest holding. Bitcoin is crypto. I do believe altcoins are set up for a very, very bullish year this year. Very, very bullish year, despite the sentiment around everywhere. Because I believe that this year will be the first year that some altcoin gets used in the real world. Combined with, just like every cycle around the post-election year, some type of low interest rates, right, and QE, which always happens in the post-election year, despite whatever we think is the narrative at the time. All right, so that's the crypto total market cap Fibonacci extensions today, guys. Will we get to the 4236 Fibonacci by the end of this year? Will we get to the 3618 Fibonacci by May? Right now, it doesn't feel like it, but I know from being in this market a long time, when it doesn't feel like you can go up, that's usually when you start going up. All right? And if you guys have been in this market for a long time, you know how it is. Also, when it feels like the market can't go down, that's usually when it goes down, right? You guys have been in the market for a long time, you know. Right now, we are testing the previous all-time highs. We did the same thing in 2021. Cheers, fellas. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Once again, once we start getting some exciting price action again and get out of this, these ranges for these altcoins and of course Bitcoin, I'll be hopping on. I'm going to be doing a stream tomorrow. Today, no stream today because I have to be somewhere a little bit this afternoon. So no stream today. I will be hopping on a stream tomorrow. So I'll see you guys 7 p.m. to talk about this week and what we've seen, which hasn't been much, but I'm liking some of the bottoming structures we're seeing from some of these altcoins out there, really starting to form some nice bottoming structures after filling these wicks this week. So I think there's a lot of good things out there, guys. Ethereum holding the level that we want to see it hold, right? Which is basically, right, as you guys know, Ethereum holds the key here, I think. As long as Ethereum continues to hold this trend line, which it held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, we're in a pretty good spot, I think. Right? But we'll talk more about this tomorrow. Everyone have a fantastic day. Much love. Peace. See you guys tomorrow at 7. Subscribe if you're new. Peace.